I encourage you to always be curious, always seek out things you love, and always work hard once you find it. So with that, I'll let you carry on with your evening. Please know I'm thinking of you, supporting you, and encouraging you always. Peace.
Yo, for more fun videos, cartoons, and more voiceover info, click and subscribe to my YouTube channel, The 4-in-Wonder Network. Thank you.
There is no way that LeBron will ever beat Jordan. Nobody will ever beat Jordan, okay?
Okay, LeBron's a better rebounder and passer.
Will you let me finish? Can you let me finish? Call me when LeBron has 6 championships.
Is that your only argument?
It's the only argument I need.
When he said he don't want to be called a GOAT, because it's hard to tell if somebody was the GOAT.
Well, if you look closely, this Michael Jordan account he uses to promote his Jordan brand sneakers. Is that right? So it's run by somebody else. And so somebody else chose the GOAT emoji because Twitter asked all the celebrities, show an emoji that describes
I mean, if the young man wanted to do it right, what they should have did to put a picture of Bron up there.
Really?
They should have put a picture of Bron up there. That would have been the GOAT. That's the GOAT.
What these young bloods have to understand, that this game has always been and will always be about buckets.
Who do you consider the greatest player of all time? Is it his ability to jump above the rim? Or be in the top 10 in Sports Center? Or is it his longevity? Even yet, the amount of championships that he won. Narrow down who's the greatest player of all time, aka the GOAT, is not as simple as you may think. We have our biases as who's the GOAT. Many people strongly believe that today, Michael Jordan is still the greatest player of all time, while this younger generation has LeBron James as the GOAT. For the older generation, it might be Bill Russell or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Today I'm going to focus on some of these players that I mentioned, but also want to focus more so on what makes the GOAT. What makes a basketball player the greatest of all time. There might be some players who I mentioned might surprise you. However, regardless of your own personal opinion or what you might hear on TV or social media, dive with me and take a look what makes the greatest basketball player of all time. Okay. This might be the most obvious part of being the GOAT. Being a champion. After all, this is what makes you the greatest player of all time, right? Active players like LeBron James, Steph Curry, and you guessed it, Udonis Haslem. Yep, he got 3 NBA championship rings with the Miami Heat. But in NBA history, what's the first player that comes to mind when you think of the greatest champion? Is it Michael Jordan? Wrong. The player who has the most rings in NBA history is Boston Celtics great Bill Russell. Bill Russell played from 1956 through 1969. In those years, he won a total of 11 championships. Yes, that's 11 in 13 seasons. During his 13-year career with the Celtics, he averaged about 15.1 points, 22.5 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. But what made him a great player was his defense and his leadership. Another player who has the most rings than Michael Jordan is Robert Horry. Oh yes, Big Shot Rob. He had a total of 7 rings. Now we know that Robert Horry was a big part of those championship teams with the Rockets, Lakers, and the Spurs. Yet he was the #1 guy. He had Hall of Fame teammates like Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaq and Kobe, and Tim Duncan. And we never mention Robert Horry in the GOAT conversation. Even though Bill Russell is an NBA icon and one of the greatest players of all time, he's not really the GOAT. And as for Robert Horry, he hit big shots after big shot during the NBA playoffs. But he's not in the GOAT conversation. Because for some seasons, Robert Horry and Bill Russell were the best player on their own team. They had Hall of Fame players on their teams. Being a champion is great, and there are many players who have many championship rings throughout their careers, but not all of them were the guy. Being a champion is a great start, but it's not what makes the GOAT. So what makes the GOAT? Well, you just have to find out next time in part 2. Until then, this is the 4-in-Wonder, Nerd with Swag.